the Kinnis, the Sairus, in connection with the same Shloshim, our dear Zaydi. Emerge Hashem tonight, we'll have friends and family share some memories and stories of Zaydi, followed by the same Hashem. And after that, if others would like to share a story and memory, will be invited to do so. Raskin Bidvar Malchus. I'd like to say a few points from the Mimer, which the Rebbe was my idea and printed in honor of the Shloshim of the Rebbetzin Chaim Mishkal. The Mimer is on the pasuk that describes Mashiach comes, there will be Bila Avodas Vanetzach, or Mocha Hashem Elikim Dimam Al Kolpanim. Death shall be swallowed up forever, and Hashem shall wipe away the tears from every face. The reason why there will be no more death when Mashiach comes, because all tumah will be taken away. No more tumah, no more evil, no more ra, there will be no more death. For when the sin of the Eitz Hadas was committed, ra and bad was mixed into everything in the world. And therefore came death, to take away the ra, that ra shouldn't exist, stop ra from existing, or because evil is spiritual death, and spiritual death automatically leads to physical death. But Mashiach comes, there will be such a great light, a great revelation of godliness, that will totally eradicate all evil. This light will be even greater than was the time of Shlomo HaMelech. By Shlomo HaMelech, there was the Beis HaMikdash, there was peace, there was Gilad HaKos. But there was still bad, there was still a ra lurking, did not rear its ugly head, but it was still lurking underneath. On the other hand, when Mashiach comes, there will be no ra whatsoever. This difference between Shlomo HaMelech and the times of Mashiach can be found in Avodas Hashem between a tzaddik gomer and a tzaddik she'eini gomer. A non-complete tzaddik, even though he loves Hashem so very much, and therefore pushes away all bad, it doesn't do any bad, it doesn't even feel or want any bad, but deep down, there is some bad left. He doesn't hate bad. You can't say he's disgusted by bad. On the other hand, a tzaddik gomer, a complete tzaddik, loves Hashem to such a great extent that bad and evil disgusts him and he hates it. Now and because it's such a great love brings that great hate, so too Mashiach comes with this great light that will eradicate all bad. Now every revelation of the time of Mashiach comes through our Avodah right now. So when we hate bad right now, and we have this disgust with bad, with ra, with tumah, that will bring Hashem to hate the bad and erase it. Now, tzaddikim are very few, even beinin and halavai beinin. So the Rebbe says what's demanded from us is at least for a few moments. If it's during davening, maybe it's during learning, maybe it's during a mitzvah extra special, even in one's daily tasks. If one, he does it, he does it to serve Hashem. In that few moments, he gives himself totally over to Hashem, and therefore has no connection and no shaykhis to anything to do with bad. That will bring that Hashem should totally hate bad, and that will bring that he should erase bad from the earth, and therefore automatically erase death, and it'll be Chaim Nitzchim, everyone will live forever, and it should all be the Karav Mamish. Amen. One of the very special things about Zaydi was how fond he was of the Rebbe Shloshim. For example, my Aunt Barucha told me how she remembers staying up very late in the fish store with Zaydi after one of the Rebbe's major farbrengens and finishing up orders for the Shloshim to take home. Zaydi also took great pride in the fact that he had children and grandchildren on Shlochis. On a personal note, my cousins and I would enjoy telling Zaydi our activities in the Rebbe's Inyanim as it gave Zaydi great nachas. We'd like to invite my dear uncle, Harav David Green, who together with my Aunt Chani have been the Rebbe Shloshim to Rochester, Minnesota for over 30 years. So please come and share a few words.
Thank you. It's not unusual for me to speak about my shver. I usually am able to do this every week in the Chabad house in Rochester when we serve them gefilte fish, and we're able to tell them who and the background of the family, and the background of what they're eating from, what it means. So, but on this occasion it's quite different. So since it's quite different, I'm going to talk about something that I think, especially speaking to friends and to the that there's something that the uniqueness of this experience that we've been going through, that there was the reaction, the response to the Shreya's passing, the media coverage, the Jewish media coverage, talking about the Shreya. So the use of the word icon, that was a word that was prominently used. So to understand what it means, icon, I looked it up in the dictionary to see what it meant, and it means a symbol. So I was thinking, what is my Shreya a symbol of? To the point that such coverage and such adulation is given, and simply he was the symbol of a chassid. He was simply the basic example of what it means to be a Hasidic balagos. What does that mean? So on the outside, he appeared to be a regular person, but somehow he was able to strike a chord and connect with people from all backgrounds, from all walks of life. So what were his values? What did he stand for? He stood for me, the way he was able to make that connection with every person and make them feel important. He made me feel important. When I would come in, no matter how busy he was. And maybe others of you have the same experience, but this was my personal experience at the same time. To be able to be welcomed behind the counter, no problem. I felt very important. I felt very privileged. But it was a personal connection that he gave across. Now obviously the idea of his Hapnas was that he did it in such a way making every person feel welcome and accepted. See, as a chassid, he used his influence and feeling of responsibility to have every situation to have an impact on the world. Even to the point, what does it mean a chassid? He's a chassid when he was behind the fish counter, when he was a chassid in his house on 395, and he was a chassid when he came and visited us in Rochester. What was it? I'll tell you a story. The story was that there was a Russian woman that had emigrated from Russia to Israel. Became a scientist in Israel and was invited, and she was working at the Mayo Clinic. So on one occasion, when 9 years ago or so, came over, and she was in a relationship with a non-Jewish man. No matter how much I spoke, no matter what I said, no matter what Hani said, it was, the expression is like water off a duck's back. It made no difference. So Hani pointed this out to my Shreya. So he sat down, in the time that he was there, he sat down, and what he said to her, I'll never know. It was all in Russian. The bottom line was, the woman was bawling, she was crying, and she broke up that relationship. Now I could speculate what did he say. I could speculate he saw in her the young Russian immigrant coming to the United States, being tempted by all the good things that are in the United States, but nevertheless finding the ability to stand strong. If that's what he gave over to her, perhaps. Like I said, it was in Russian. I don't know. And the reason he was able to do this, I submit, he never bragged about it, but it came about because he came from good stock. His upbringing was something that remained with him, and he cherished all his life. How do I know he cherished it all his life? So, when my eldest was born, the nearest minyan for where we lived, it was like a 45-minute walk. Yes, we together walked 45 minutes to this minyan. The Federal Medical Center, it's the Bureau of Prisons, in Minnesota. So we walked together. That was where the nearest meeting was, whatever the circumstances brought that about. And on the way, the conversation was explaining to me who Berel was. Very proud. Not one time, we knew who we're going to name her, don't worry. But not one point bragging, not one point insisting, but painting the picture for me to understand the dedication and devotion. This is what made him who he was. On the way back was a different conversation, was about all the people that were, what's going on, what did they do wrong, but they're sitting over there, that's a different story. So really to conclude, I'll tell you that for 14 years, ever since my Shver's 70th birthday, every time I came and visited, I was made to read something in Yiddish. My Shver had me sit down and read. What was it? It was a letter that my father, Shalom, sent to my Shver on the occasion of his 70th birthday. So what did he write? I'll give it a shot in Yiddish. I'm not the Yiddishist of my father, but this is what he wrote. Stellt sich die Kasche. Wie kann man Obkaum kommen zu solchen wie Berel Raskin? Wo sein ganzes Vernehmen und die Vernehmen für die ganze Mischwoche ist mit Chabel Habrius, was die ganze jüdische Welt genutzt von Eide Hachnosses Orchim von Eide Tisch. Und das, was ein kindisch hierher, wenn euch bewusst bei eurem, als Machnisse Orchim und Chabel Habrius, ist schöner Beweis, als Charnitze können euch bekommen in eurem Hase. Oh, my attempt at translating. The question arises, how can we give honor to someone like Berel Raskin? That his entire focus, and the focus of the whole family, is honoring others, that the entire Jewish world has benefited from your hospitality, from your table, and the fact that your children are also known in the world as hosts and honoring others is already a sign that the reward for our mitzvah can be acquired in this world. So the theme of a Chai Yitin Alibay, what can we take to heart? So we have to remember, as children and grandchildren, where we come from, what we stand for, who we are, and what is demanded from us. How we are supposed to channel all these energies in such a way that it influences and impacts positively on others. May He keep around the Shaitan offer, and we look forward even tonight for him to join us and to give us a words of inspiration. Amen.
Thank you very much, David. Our next speaker is supposed to be a very close friend of Zedi, the Moshe Mendelovich, whose friendship with Zedi started when Moshe came to America about 50 years ago. Unfortunately, he could not make it here tonight, and instead sent a letter that we have a nephew of Zedi, Shalom Raskin, to please read the letter from Moshe and to share a few words. I'd like to also say that Arik Raskin, his older brother, which is in Paris, sent the following gematria. The Chayit Min Alibay is the gematria Chiyas Hames. Shalom.
Moshe writes on the top, he writes a heading, Thoughts from a Friend. But I think everybody here knows that he was more than a friend. He was really part of our family, not only this Raskin family, but the whole Raskin family. So I'm happy to represent him tonight, and I will stick to the script. We have come here tonight to honor a true legend who scored more home runs, touchdowns, and points than anybody else. Berel Raskin was a prince of chesed. He was my friend for over 50 years, ever since I came to America. In the home of Esther, God bless her, and Berel Shalom, the door was always open, not only for chesed, but also for food and a good word. Many was the time that I benefited from their encouragement and good cheer. Berel made a Kiddush Hashem with everyone, Jewish and non-Jewish alike. When people didn't have money to buy fish, he would say, "You can pay me later," and they were very grateful. Whenever anyone needed a favor, he was there to help. No one will ever know the measure of his good deeds. He was a chassid, a special Jew, and a true friend. I miss him very much, and so does everybody else. He was an excellent father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. His family was his nachas, and he was very proud of them. Baruch Hashem, he raised a wonderful and noble family. Berel may have left us for a short time, but he is daily in our hearts and minds. While at present, we could only see your smiling face on your delicious gefilte fish and herring, we look forward to the day when we will see it again in person. You made a very big impact on the world, and were truly a blessing. Please pray for us, for Klal Yisrael, and Mashiach should come, Moshe Mendelovich.
I would like to mention that the Shloshim tonight falls on the same day of the Zayda of Yankel Lipsker's 34th yard site. If I may say, a short episode. Everyone knows of Zaydi's famous Sukkot Kiddush, Shmini Atzeres Kiddush, on Shmini Atzeres, which started when Bobby and Zaydi lived on Eastern Parkway and continued when they moved to Crown Street. So Sukkot's time 34 years ago, after Zaydi Lipsker passed away, Rebbe Chaim Mushko mentioned to the Rebbe that the Raskins are questioning if they should have this year the Kiddush, the Sukkot's Kiddush, since they are in Shnas Avelis. And the Rebbe answered something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, Vos varaponim betas hadin. If Rabbi Yaakov will look down from Shemayim into the Sukkah, or will come to the Sukkah, and there will be empty tables and chairs. You can imagine that that year's Sukkot's Kiddush was greater than ever. Zaydi loved when the family got together. Simchas, Yom Tovim, Chanukah, Purim, Shabbosim. So if I might add my own hergish, which I'm sure is shared around this room, that tonight, with the family all together, Zaydi is watching us, is with us, and we feel his presence. As I may say, L'chaim Zaydi. We'd like to call up Harav Shalom HaKohen Zarchi, Harav Shlema HaKohen Zarchi, Mashpia Teichet Tfinim, Zaydi's cousin, and was very close and friendly with Zaydi. So please share a few words.
Everybody spoke already. Because it's hard to talk, and you say in Yiddish, it's what happened. It's film. fine. But I just came to Navy, I turned my head, he's not in the store, something. This is what Azay is, yeah. Remember the day that so bad, the daughter and the children all came to America. I remember the day my mother and my younger children went to the boat, picked them up, we came to our house, and the whole Hampshire had volume, I came up out in the house in Prospect Place. I get sounds like, yeah. But the end of the story was that the Rebbe said he's on the boat and go to Montreal. And the Rebbe told the Lipskip him, and Mehait Atomim. That's what I remember was the expression. Mehait Atomim. And well, people should know that Chalukov saw one back in Esther who were walking outside. Chalukov said he sees him again, he's not going to be in Saudi Kedusha. That phone and not to see her. And so forth, and he came back with the chasna, and there was no money for baby items, so everything, making people, a middle cook, we were waiters, yeah. It sounds like the chasna, yeah. We made a shell bracha. Now my house with a special shell bracha because the guy was rushing to beat the buses to the chuppah, but he promised the Rebbe a certain time to come to the chuppah. He stopped in the middle of the Maimer. The Rebbe asked later if the Chassan was up and done some Maimer. They said no because they were in a rush. The Rebbe said, but the shell bracha he used to say the whole Maimer. I remember in our house he said the whole Maimer. And back of worried that we should serve. And remember it's in Brownsville. Chicken chutney, because you like Esther chicken chutney. And remember like that. He's worried about you. But Papa in the ETE, Chula how the Rebbe was Mekarev him. People have to understand, and children have to understand. Chomber, Mirchot, it's an institution. Not Pshah. There was more people that Rebbe asked to grow a beard inside the Kedushin, and they didn't have the starkheit. Why did they have the starkheit? As Michal tells me, when Rebbe told him, he saw his father behind the Rebbe and telling him the same thing. You have to understand, they're an institution, much like your Baba. Your Baba is a cooking camp. She put away food for the Avim. They come late, shachar, they should eat. I remember Bet in Din, when we came down to Siddish Bochum, she put away food for them by day and by night. She was be'etzem a Siddish food, that's a brochen of food, not Siddish food. She came from Shloshim Raskin, he came from Bencher Raskin. There's a sikha, the Rebbe says that the Eid in the dog that gets up every morning in Russia, and sagt, Bechus HaShachar, and that vein, this says Ein, this says he cried all his kids and all his Eineklar should be Siddische Kinder, Yiddische Kinder. He moved away from Deshnikov, the Jewish guy, next to the Lubavitch, a Yiddische Stott, to Gesachska, Goyische Stott. Because of there was a scholar in Deshnikov that could be a modern scholar. In Gesachska's going, dort wird nicht kallen. It was a strenger chassid, with Bencher Raskin. And the Friedrich Rebbe once said in the Sikha, the two families of Yechosid in Lubavitch, Raskin and Kareli, the son of the city of the mountain, two special families that the Friedrich Rebbe once said in the Sikha. So Kopam in the fashion when the Yeshidach was saying that means Berk is to say that the Rebbe said the Yichis is a Michal Shabbat is a Elohim, that was Baba Bashi's father, and also Michal Shabbat is the wife. She was a niece, a Enokel from out Michal, a Rebbe's a Chassid from Allah, such a Shidduch, and the main dimension we put it into Burim, Michal Shabbat, and his father was Salman Shabbat, and his daughter, Ilu, they have the rights in the Shloshim, which is Boker B'Shas and Kabbalah, and they say you have Gilu every go, Michal Shabbat, and Salman Shabbat. So Kopanim, and the Hanlei, the Shia, Chaim David, he says, the Chassidim of Lubavitch from day to day. So when you speak about Berkeley, you speak about these kids, and not these Balkans, you're not speaking about somebody, you're speaking about institutions. institution, when Berkel took L'chaim as a mistake, what did he cry about? He cried about the Shloshim, and the Kinan, the Aaron, he didn't cry about money, he didn't scream about money. Everyone said, how do you know a person when he takes up with Mashke and he says, L'chaim, what did he want in his life? That's L'chaim, given a limit that his whole highest rules and Kinan Elchim in the end class and the good end class. This was his whole thing. And this is he cried about, the Islam made, the Yosef, the way the Zayda cried, he should be Elchim. This was their whole life. And this was his home mitzvah, how to make the Rebbe Nachasuah and make better fish for the Rebbe for Pesach, the more would be. This was their institution. It's not the person in the street. These are the Chassidish blood that runs from day to day from both sides. From his father to Baal Lev, from his mother to Gabba, from days, and the Lipskip and all the Zach. So the children having them real Chassidish blood and Chassidish Adler and good sky. The way from there over the Chazim, the bombs, and the founding Gorky, he was there by the Zayda's house. The Polish even said, Avram Avinu's Ruiz can go into Shabbat. So Memela, the Rebbe and the Pre-Rebbe and the Rebbe was saying all the stories about the Shidduchim and all this Benzin's children, there's many stories not to hear the place. I mean, the Zayda, the Shlem of the whole Indian. And the Rebbe told it, the Shlem by Chuter, the Chosim, by the Brachkin Sforim, so the Gebach Chosim unto the Chuter, and then it's called Yirush Shemayim, because we back nach 50 Jahren, Kinder Zidim Yirush Shemayim. So all the Einikulach and all the children up in the Brachas of the Rabbein, and Shulamim, and what's going on, but there's no question about it. The Shomberkin in Ganeden, and the Zaydis and the Bobbis and the nuances of Rabbein. He's been taken care of by the Rabbein, the Rebbe, and all the Rabbein, and all the Zaydis and Bobbis are making sure that he's been taken care of. What happened, you see, he wasn't sick. In the Shemayim, they took him from the Shemayim. But the Chai Yitn Elibe, all the Kinder and all the Einiklach. There's many more stories to tell. I'm not going to speak a long time. When we name the hand, give him covered to the man. That's what the father surely wanted. His whole life was Esther was good, yeah. And the Kinder make sure, the Einiklach should make sure. The Einiklach, this Mashiach is around the corner, Mashiach is coming. So that noch die Wochen abschlussen. Eber soll helfen, dass alle sein gesund. Und der Michael soll sein gesund, his older brother, and his younger brother, alle noch sein gesund, yeah. And one family, one wanted the other one. He spoke to Michael every day, Michael to him. And it's in trouble was to reden, because the whole Indian, the Lake Technician proper what happened. But this is the story they said, there's a Shloshim today, that was the Dormen. Mir was on all sein gesund, Chassische Kinder, the Baba soll tanzen, auf alle Chassen, und tanzen mit Mashiach zu kriegen.
I would now like to call out my dear uncle, Aaron Leib Raskin, a mashpia and Chaver Meneches of Eitzach Sidon, to make the Siyum HaMishnayos that was learned throughout the Shloshim and to share a few words about it. Before I begin, many of you know that our
our father was a Baal Tefillah. Got that from his father. He also loved Nigunim. I'd like to ask everyone to join with me in singing two Nigunim that we used to sing when we were kids with coffee on the table.
Ladies also? Fine, everyone. That's the rabbi.
I just wanted to mention that Lady loved also many other Nigunim and many other songs like Joe Mar's Best Hits. That we're going to keep for another night. So tonight we will sing two of the Nigunim. One is a Niggun Vekas, one is a Niggun Simcha, and please join with us to get into the mood. The first Niggun is a Balkava Dog Niggun. Na 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 ya na ya na na ya ya
Now we get to the Siyum HaMishnayos. The Siyum HaMishnayos, the last Mishnah, goes like this. Omer Eli Shua ben Levi. Osra Kadosh Baruch Hu L'Hanchil L'Chaltzad L'Tzad Shloshim Beis V'Asara Elumis. The Eibishter, V'Asad Lovi, will give every tzaddik 310 Elumis. Shenema L'Hanchil V'Yesh V'Tzadisei Ma'malei. Then the Mishnah concludes. Omer Pshimim B'Chalafter. Le'motach Kadosh Baruch Hu Kli Machzik B'Rachel Yisrael Elo HaSholem. The Eibishter didn't find a Kli that could contain the bracha with Yisrael. The only Kli that he can find is Sholem. Shenemar Hashem Oid Lama Yitain Hashem Yivarech Esameh Vasholem. What does the Mishnah mean by saying that Le'motach Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibishter couldn't find any Kli that could contain this bracha? So we know that the Eibishter's bracha, the Eibishter's Eir, the Eibishter's Chayes, the Eibishter's energy is Bli Gvul. And Elam Hazeh, and all the Elam Ruchiyim are Gvul. So the Eid is Bli Gvul, bracha is Bli Gvul, infinite. And Welt, the Elam is Gvul. So the Mishnah says, Le'motzah Kadosh Baruch Hu Kli Machzik bracha. There is no Kli, there is no vessel that could contain the Eibishter's infinite bracha. Elo HaSholem. Sholem. When we have Sholem, that could contain the Eibishter's bracha. Why? What's so special about Sholem? We know that Sholem has this kayach to connect two opposites. When there are two opposites, for example, things that are not compatible with the other, positive and a negative, ruchnius and gashmius, gvul and bli gvul, so Sholem has the kayach to be mechaber, to connect these two opposites. So it says in Sfarim that when Yidden, down here in this world, practice the Inyan HaSholem by connecting opposites, that causes the Eibishter to be mamshich. The Inyan HaSholem Lamato, in order that we should be able to be mekabel this bracha from the Eibishter, it should become a Kli Machzik bracha, and able to be mekabel the Eila Bli Gvul, the bracha of Bli Gvul. It's interesting that this Mishnah, you see my Mishnayos, contains Tati's name 2 times, Sholem. In the last few weeks, we heard from many, many people. There were people that said, like David mentioned, that Tati was an icon. Some said, wow, your father was a landmark. Some said, he was an institution. Yet, he didn't have a big Chabad house, he didn't run a big Chabad house. He didn't run any major institutions and major organizations. And nevertheless, he had an impact, he had an influence, he had a hashpah on so many people. What was his secret? Tati possessed the power of Sholem, the power to connect. Everyone is talking about his smile. Everyone is talking about Tati's smile. The Friedrich Rebbe says in the Sikha, very interesting thing, that the Mezritcher Maggid gave a matana, gave a present to the Alter Rebbe. He gave him a matana of a smile. And with this smile, the Alter Rebbe was able to capture the world. The Alter Rebbe's smile, he was able to capture the world. Tati's smile captured people. It connected people together. No matter the age difference, whether it was an old person or a young person, a little kid, a Pashti Yid, a learned person, and even as mentioned before, Lahavdil, even Goyim. His warmth, touched everyone in this special way. It is our obligation to continue this smile, to bring warmth and inspiration to all people. And by doing this, we be zeiche, we use the Lashon HaMishnah, that Hashem Yivarech es Amei Vasholem, to be united speedily with Tati again, and definitely will greet us with that big smile. But until then, as the song goes, who will be the Zaydis of our children? Who will be the Zaydis if not we? I want to conclude In the name of our dear mother, my dear brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank everyone participating in this kiddush of Achayit Nulibur. And Hashem should give keches and strength to our dear mother. Mami, you should be gesund and stark. And with your loving smile, continue to give us keches and encouragement that we're able to follow in Tati's ways and continue everything you wanted from us. And that will definitely bring him Nachas Ruach. I will do the Hadr now. Hadr? Hadr Allah is nicht warten Allah, Zeit Allah ist nicht warten Allah, und nach dem Allah ist nicht noch zu wollen, mal dem Level und raus. Haben noch ist nicht noch noch da noch sagen noch Sachen mit Allah mit dem Level und raus. Haben noch nicht noch nicht Zeit noch nach dem Allah nicht und ist nach dem Level mit dem Level aus der halb nach der in der Klasse mit dem Islam. Wir sollen hier klar nach das so ein. Das ist so Kalam Israel Kolonial Schmeffel en dat gesmal in Nederland dat meen dat is dat geleden die liegen dat dat zo kert al mijn leven les dat van Christen wat dat dan dat amin zelf. Wij dan van gaan wel heen wil hebben ze stamto Kelki die Jezus is amedres wil Jezus kranes. Andere misschien maar goed de misschien dit wat meteen maar misschien wel. En dan kan het ook helemaal in kan het. And the other of him lost one lost and high on one lost and the shot is never to the shot has and you don't mean what you mean and you have to go. Set up. No. Which way is it? Which way is it? Straight ahead. Huh? Straight ahead. Where you start? Iskada, Iskada, Shmei Rabo, Beomer, Rochel, Sabiam, Bofos, Yaakov, Bekam, Bekam, Kishifei, Ayegen, Vermeegen, Begeide, Golf, Israel, Bagol, Makar, Imran, Mei, Hey, Shmei Rabo, Barak, Lom, Mil, Maya, Isbarak, Vistabo, Vispar, Vistrem, Visnasi, Visalabas, Salabas, Salos, Kutsu, Brichel, Leilam, Klobachas, Vishados, Bachas, Rechabas, Nabir, Balma, Imran, Mei, Al Israel, Val Rabon, Batal Midei, Bakol, Talmidis, Talmidei, Bakol, Mandoskin, Beiraisa, die Basra, Dei, die Bachalasar, Basar, Je hele hemel geen, zo maar beginnen we vragen we gaan naar liggen, zijn er bigof, we kan maar van de smaaien, we brengen mee. Je hees komt maar met smaaien, we gaan meteen alleen naar cholesterol, we brengen mee. Deze shalom we brengen, we gaan zo alleen naar cholesterol, we brengen mee.
Anyone else want to say something? Now's the time. On behalf of the whole family, we'd like to thank everyone for coming. I would like to bench Bobby, my father, my uncles, my aunt, my great uncles, and the whole family. I shall all be gesund and stark, and from now on only simchas. And v'achai yitin al liboy. And the living should take it to heart. We hope everyone will take something home from this kinnis. A story, a vert, some inspiration to help them be a better person and a better chassid. And this certainly will give a great aliyah for the neshama. We hope for the ultimate aliyah when we will be united with Zedi with Chiyas Hamesim, with the ultimate bracha of the coming of Mashiach, take it from Yamamesh, and the words of the Rebbe from Basar Gani. Meniske zetzach mit den Rebben, Dolamato and Aguf, Lamato Masar Fochem, Vahudi Golenu. Everyone's invited to take some Zainis, the Nishmas and the L'chaim. I'll have a few known for Maidu. Blueberry pie? Bobby's famous blueberry pie. Huh?